their way on to the field. Second semi-final, Zimbabwe, Namibia. That's why the DJ does that. Palalala. Namibia takes on Zimbabwe, so we are going to start with the Namibian national anthem. I would ask each one of you in the building or in our midst to please stand up and give respect to the national anthems, starting with Team Namibia. I'm sure the entire Windhoek is watching the Namibian team in Kampala as we head to the national team of Zimbabwe. That's the national anthem of Zimbabwe, and we'll quickly go through the team sheets, begin the team sheet for the team Namibia. At number 1, we have Jason Bernard. Number 2,
well, if the first semi-final is anything to go by, the second semi-final here promises to be quite the thrill. Namibia takes on Zimbabwe in what is said to be a southern part of Africa derby, or southern part of Africa affair. And Namibia have had the upper hand against this particular team, Zimbabwe. 6 games they've played against them, 6 games they have won. But if inspiration is to be drawn from the first semi-final, well, then Zimbabwe may believe it might be just about time for them to punch above their weight. Kieron Magic, the man in shirt 14, will be once again looked at and tasked with putting in quite a number of points on the board here, just as is the man in shirt 10, Ian Peer, who put in a formidable, a very interesting 7 points there in the quarterfinals. Will be once again the goal man too. Is a big question that should be asked here and about. Quite overcast and a bit windy as, well, the hopes of the people of Zimbabwe just might soar that high if they might cause an upset as well. Well, that's the game that they'll be praying out for. But Namibia, formidable position that needs no introduction to anybody that does understand Test rugby. Jermaine Agassa here. Ernest Akorebirunji sitting right next to me. And, well, Ansi to get us into this particular game. What should we be looking out for, Ernest?
We've had an exciting semi-final between Algeria and Kenya. Huge upset. According to the World Rugby rankings, Algeria have no business being close to Kenya. This time it presents another opportunity for us maybe to see an upset, or maybe for the status quo to stay as is. Zimbabwe, not so far off from Namibia, but we know very well that these two countries, close as they may be to each other in the southern hemisphere of this African tournament, of this African continent, there's a little bit of daylight between the two in this African tournament, and we hope that by the end of the 80 minutes here, we shall know who is the African giant in the south of Africa, Namibia or Zimbabwe.
World number 24, Zimbabwe, number 2 in Africa, taking on Zimbabwe, who are not so far behind them. 6 spots on the world rankings. Those 6 spots can mean the whole world of difference, especially when you get onto the pitch.
2, 1, we have kick-off the second semi-final.
And it's kick-off of the second semi-final here as Namibia take on Zimbabwe. Namibia in the blue and white, while Zimbabwe in their favored white and green plate. That they put in the shift here. Big question is, who will step up here for Zimbabwe tonight? Ian was in remarkable form in the first game. They are putting in 7 points there. The question is, he will be a very heavily marked man.
I think the other man to take a very close look at today will be the fullback Tapiwa Mafura. He cut ring roads through the Ugandan defense on that kick chase. Very good in open play. Tapiwa Mafura is my man to watch today from the Zimbabwean side.
That's the fullback that will be putting on shot 15. And now straight out to the action. Obet to deliver the line out. Quick release. Signature here of the Namibians. It's very fluid with their movements. Vice captain, Obet. Looking to release quick. Instantly releasing it here for Jack Teron. Through the middle. Nice break here. Itembu.
And they have the advantage as well.
Continue to shift momentum here. Max. Possession, looks to battle his way forward. Still holding on to the ball. Good release. Brought down. Tight run here. Johan.
Clough Kundiona won that contest at the breakdown, but Zimbabwe were already playing against the advantage in their defense. Namibia had a free shot. It didn't materialize, but they will now get the scoreboard ticking with this attempt for points from, you could say, about 38 meters.
Well, the task going to fall to the captain, Danko Berger, to attempt to go for the poles here. Very early in the first half. 2 minutes of the game played. Namibia not standing on occasion.
And you remember in the first game, Zimbabwe did not concede any points in the first half. So to start on the back foot in this one is going to be a different turn of events in the Rugby Africa Cup.
Going for it. And it will count. Starts off with the 3. Shades of deja vu from the prior game. Also started off with the kick, getting the early 3, and that set the tone. So Namibia now in the driving seat with 3 points on the board, and Zimbabwe have to find a way to respond quick. Big kick. Easy collecting here from Boyson, Adrian.
From the penalty attempt.
Teron.
Early points for Namibia. Namibia 3.
Looks to kick for territory once again. chase acrobatic pick up there in mid-air from Tapiwa Mafura. Still holding on to the ball. Quickly is trying to utilize the blind side. Shuffle of the feet. Sigoke Edwards holding on, going to the ground. Holding on to the ball, looking to kick and chase. Not standing on occasion. Quickly clearing that one away. JC Nell. Fullback here, not standing on occasion, just making sure that that will be put away from the danger area. Namibia keeping it clean very early.
There was, I think, just clarity there. Zimbabwe were trying to kick the ball back behind and it was charged down, so the last touch on the ball was a Namibia hand. It goes into the hands of the Namibia fullback who kicks it straight into touch, meaning it was taken back in the 22. So we are returned to where I kicked from, but still a Zimbabwe ball.
And it's an easy pickup here for Namibia. Tembo, I was actually Robert Nokia. Looking to correct once again, Teron. Makes the kick. As a charge down. Picked up well. Looking to shuffle one way, then the other. Putting in a very good shift here, Mafura. Very elusive and slippery as an eel.
They have the advantage, Zimbabwe, for not rolling away.
Putting in a decent shift here, pretty swift. Namibia looking very light at the back at the moment. Oh, hefty, hefty. Referee's whistle coming to play as well.
I think that's a fair contest in the grand scheme of things of rugby. He won that arrival at the breakdown. In the coaching, you're being told you need to get under the man who is coming to clear the rack. He did try to maybe say budge him off the breakdown. He just tossed him upwards and then continued. But Zimbabwe had that advantage for not rolling away earlier, and I think Ian Pryor will be looking to level matters so we can start afresh in this semi-final.
Well, he might have a bit of a more difficult situation to contend with. It's quite a bit of a distance here, just slightly past the 10-meter line. And if anybody's up to the task for the Zimbabwe side, the Sables, well, it will definitely be Ian Pryor.
A lot of good words have been said about Pryor. He plays in the Super Rugby in Australia. Perhaps you could say that's the highest level of rugby in Oceania, but this is Africa. These are different conditions, and so far he's doing well at managing them in this Sables side.
Steps up. That will not have it count for his name and his nation just as yet. 6 minutes, quickly approaching 7. Namibia still holding it solid.
Should you say is that that's the first case of commentators cast there after saying Ian Pryor has been doing well with African conditions.
Sometimes you just jinx it. Nice hold here from Sigauke. Edward going to the ground. Zimbabwe still in possession. Trying to thrash their way here forward. Very pretty tight contest here between the two. Instant release. Looking to bring Utete into the game. Delian. Many physical contests here as Ian Pryor will attempt to once again get a beautiful ball out there.
That's a good 50-22 kick from Ian Pryor. Recognizes that the team had all stepped up a bit, and including the wingers managing the backfield. So all he had to do was just dink it behind him. Good bounce of the ball just on the touchline. Flag goes up, line out to Zimbabwe.
Simba Madioma
He's
expected to deliver this one.
His line out in the first time wasn't good. Hope he cleans up on this one.
This one is okay. Picked up well, looking to dash in and losing that ball there from the impact there. Kudzai Mashawi.
That was a heavy shoulder into the big man running at full pace. We've seen him drop some defenders, but Namibia have shut that door in his face and forced him to commit the handing error.
They'll have a chance once again to build from the scrum. And if anything is to go by their play piece so far, you probably think they might actually opt to quickly get that scrum and get the kicking going.
Yeah, I think Namibia is smart enough to know which zones they have to play from. Zimbabwe is a team that can strike them and strike them hard. They have good backs who can run the ball. They have skilled forwards who can carry it straight. But Namibia are very, very well aware that this is a cup semi-final and they shouldn't give any chance to their opponents. The objective will be to just exit that red zone territory as soon as they can.
Released, just as predicted there. JC now puts that clear to get themselves some territory in here. Chance to galvanize troops and get themselves back onto the front foot. Instructions galore here from the technical bench on both ends. Looks like the earlier upset there against the Simbas has reawakened the instinct of danger in the 15s, that it can come lacking at any one point. No chance for anybody to slack up here.
I mean, Zimbabwe's set pieces have not been the cleanest. It's just been 10 minutes. But their lineouts have not worked well, and it's not the challenge of the lifters or the jumpers. It's the challenge of the who cannot throwing a straight ball.
Simba Mandioma is the man that will be tasked with the charge. Might need to clean that up sooner than later.
And you know, set plays are really, really important, especially these two teams which play structured rugby. Namibia coached by Alista Kotzia, who was a Springbok coach. Did not have good fortunes with the Springboks, the world champions, but he has had good fortunes with the Wildwesher and leading them to the World Cup twice in a row now.
Held up here. Loose ball, chance for a kick and chase. And now this is going to be a real test of speed. But handled well enough. And acquitting themselves quite aptly for the moment. Jack Theron doing a pretty good job.
Tapiwa Mafura guilty there of trying to contest that breakdown through the side. It's not necessary, I should say. You know, you're in a good territory, 5 meters away. You've applied enough pressure already. The objective for Namibia is to exit. They will kick that ball. If it goes into touch, it's a line out in their territory. But you've given away a penalty, and now the exit has been done, but you do not have possession. I think Mafura was too eager in that situation, and he gave away an unnecessary penalty.
Namibia, by virtue of their positioning close to South Africa, have frequently had themselves as guinea pigs, for lack of a better word, or test subjects for the visiting teams that would be taking on South Africa. A couple of teams have played Namibia, including the British and the Irish Lions, have played 5 fixtures against Namibia. First one coming in 1955 in their tour of South Africa. Then 9 fixtures have been played against Zimbabwe, who also find themselves in a similar position. Of course, if you look at Namibia, the only other nation, by the way, outside of South Africa, the only other African nation outside of South Africa that has multiple wins against the Tier 1 nation. Did register 2 wins apiece against Ireland and Italy. That is from 1991 season, where they went unbeaten in 10 test matches. It isn't recent history. This is a nation that has been cultivating rugby right to the core.
It's good research and good statistics there from, I'd like to give that credit to Isametrics for helping us with our preparations in the commentary booth here. And that paints a good picture, you know, of the history of rugby in these two nations, that it's not just now that they've only started playing, they've been at it for decades and perhaps a century or so.
Both teams were quite formidable in the first half of their quarter-final fixtures. Namibia were made to work until the 38th minute when they finally got their very first try against what was a resolute Burkina Faso. Well, Zimbabwe had the dream start against the Uganda Rugby Cranes, hounding them, pummeling them 22-0 in that first half. Neither team conceding in the first half. Well, that won't be the case here, as Zimbabwe are already on the back foot.
And they could be in deeper trouble. Namibia have an opportunity to double the lead from that penalty. Player trying to contest the ball. He won that, got his hands on the ball, but he was off his feet. Just as you take a look at it, comes in from the side, does not make that J turn, as the new rugby laws say, and additionally not supporting his own body weight.
You would have to say at one point they had the dream start against Uganda, that is Zimbabwe. Ironically, Uganda unable to even get into their 22 in that entire first half. And this is another ball game altogether. They must have been prepared differently. As Dankoberg will once again step up and attempt to double the tally. And this one just ricochets off the uprights and gets back in play. A rare sight in rugby. That accuracy.
The odds can never be much lower than that. Comes off the uprights, and we've seen it a number of times, but the kick is important, but the chase is as important, because once that ball goes off the kicking tee, it's a live ball, and you need to be on your feet both on defense and on attack. It comes off the uprights. The first hands it lands into need to be aware that there's many players around me and I need to secure possession.
It's a big line in. A chance here now for Zimbabwe to get out of their own area. Namibia will by no means be making that any pleasant in terms of work. Launched. Making no mistake once again. Another big kick. JC Nell inquiring from his compatriot there if he should send it airborne. And Zimbabwe will not hesitate to do the same.
This is the kicking game that we talked about. You know, you're in two structured teams, and Zimbabwe started it. Namibia responded, but overall Namibia have lost that kicking battle against Zimbabwe, because the first kick was made by Zimbabwe from inside their 22, and look where the line-out is in the other half, just close to the 10, Zimbabwe ball.
Pleasant advantage it is now for Zimbabwe. They must capitalize on this and build up on here. Simba Mandioma will be tasked with making the delivery this time round. Namibia have had quite a bit of luck with these line-outs. This time Zimbabwe tip that one to their end flawlessly. Heavy impact here, trying to utilize the blind side, and now making a good run in here. This could be the opening that they have been looking for. Singwini making the run. Chance here through the center. Utete brought to the ground. Still a chance. And the kick to the far end. Absolutely stunning there from Ian Pryor. The sense, the unerring accuracy, the decisiveness, that is cold-blooded calculation here from Ian Pryor. Managing to kick it out to the wing and finding Sigauke. That is breathtaking.
What a try. They had the advantage of the break, Zimbabwe. They push it out wide to the edge, and once it's recycled, Ian Pryor keeps his winger on the touchline and sends a pinpoint accurate cross kick. Sigauke had no one watching him. Easy catch, easy touchdown for the former under-20 international. And he now has 3 tries as well to his name, just in 2 tests at the senior level.
I'll tell you one thing, they'll always say it's the ones that you don't see coming that hit you hardest. I'm absolutely certain nobody from the Namibia team was actually watching that. It caught them cold on their feet. Ian Pryor with a chance to add points here. Making the assessment here and making the calculation. Making sure he's in the right spot. Has had 1 attempt so far. And this one will definitely count. And now we have a game on our hands. Zimbabwe 7, Namibia 3. Ian Pryor putting his blueprint in that particular sequence of play.
What a man, Ian Pryor. Good form on that kick. He transfers that energy from the ground through his hips and just kicks the ball with his right foot from the touchline. Conversions don't get any more difficult than that. And he's put Zimbabwe firmly now ahead with just 20 minutes on the clock.
Well, just 20 minutes on the clock and we might be tearing up all our stats from the quarterfinals. This is a whole nother game that is being played out here. It's going to be down to basic tact, and you definitely wouldn't envy being in one of the boots of the coaches here. Two teams with a very different structure, and this is absolutely nothing like what they had last weekend.
The semi-finals have been really, really entertaining, and just matter of fact, this was the same exact score at this point in the first semi-final between Algeria and Kenya. So it means that both teams in both, the four teams in both semi-finals have come, they're putting their best foot forward, and steadily but slowly they are giving their best at rugby, and what a show so far.
Well, if you look at the game that they played in the Rugby Africa Cup semi-finals last year, that was at the Stadium Maurice, David. Well, that game ended 34-19 in favor of Namibia. It looks like we might be in for another masterclass here from these two as they clash out here.
It's important, of course, to make it clear that this is not Namibia's A side, and as much as we say that, this is no excuse, because the records will show that Namibia played against Zimbabwe. It does not matter whether that's your B side, your C side. You have brought a national team to the biggest competition in Africa, and the expectation is to win for all the 8 teams. Right now, it might not be over, it might be just getting started, the journey to the Rugby World Cup, but there's a lot to play for here, and both teams need to put their best foot forward.
Well, another kick forward, and once again, flying down that wing. Takudzwa, chance here. Once again, Zimbabwe will draw blood once again. And it is all-out annihilation here. Brandon putting down another try. And Namibia find themselves in very unfamiliar territory. Not only are they trailing in this tournament for the first time, but it looks like Zimbabwe is finally cracking the jigsaw in that defense.
Look at Brandon Muzekanyezi's supporting line after his winger does all the hard work. There, he arrives,
Picks up.
His job was to clean up, maybe secure that ruck, but the bounce of the rugby ball, ever so unpredictable, goes into his favor, and my oh my, what a play from the set piece. Good supporting line from Musekanyezi and try under the uprights.
Well, it will be a chance once again to add the extras here, and you can definitely count on Ian Pryor making it work. But for Namibia, well, they have to galvanize troops early and figure out exactly why things are falling apart this quickly before Zimbabwe, which we all know from the quarterfinals, has the ability to really put in the screws when given the opportunity.
Yeah, Zimbabwe have prepared really well. They are prepared. They are trial matches, I should call them, or you could say test matches, because it was against Zambia, who did not paint the true picture of the strength of their team. And they've come here with 14 home-based players and 14 players based away from home. This team, they might have met at the airport, but they've gelled so well in such a short time, and they're making a good shot for the Rugby Africa Cup final.
Once again, looking to break before Namibia have a chance to recover. And another handoff here, still looking to carry his way through. Just trying to barge the man that was hanging on to him there on the marker. And once again, big hit there coming in from Kudashawi. Long chance, long busting run. This one will go out of touch here. Brilliant play earlier there from Kudakwashi. The left lock here of Zimbabwe. Well, it looks like somebody just flicked on the light bulb here for Zimbabwe.
I mean, it's been a superb team performance, but one of the standout players so far is Ian Pryor. You mentioned his name, that he will be instrumental in this play. Chose to switch allegiance to Zimbabwe, and so far it's been paying off.
Once again, the threat has now been fully analyzed and come to terms with. Namibia will face the stark reality that they're up against it in this particular one. Chance here, battering through the center of the park. Kudzai just couldn't manage to get the better there. And there's a turnover in possession. Namibia will benefit here. The kick, not exactly getting the job that they wanted done. Quick reversal in roles, and Zimbabwe will return the favor.
That's a good kick from Jacob Hughes. Realizing that Zimbabwe knew they had the attacking ball, the turnover has been effected, meaning there's no man manning that backfield. He gives a good grabber kick behind Ian Pryor, and Ian Pryor, in trying to stop that 50-22, has no choice but to put it to touch almost immediately, giving Namibia a good line out. They've not had many opportunities to attack. The momentum has swung into Zimbabwe's hands.
And once again, the ball equally follows suit, landing right flush in the hands of Zimbabwe. Ironically, the hooker, Simba. Chance for the kick. Another devastating kick here once again, and gaining quite some territory. Ian Pryor really pulling the strings right from the back there, orchestrating the moves. Been pretty unplayable so far.
I mean, it's the basics that Ian Pryor is doing, and he's doing them so well. A fly-half, you're supposed to watch the backfield. You're supposed to put your team in positions where they can play well, and he's realizing that if Namibia keep playing in their own territory, he will find those spaces.
Long ball picked up again. Simba quite alert to that ball that floats beyond everybody else. Trying to go for the tag, but the ball instantly hoofed clear here by Jace Jakes Theron for Namibia. Yet to yield dividends, and Zimbabwe will once again be the benefactors here of possession. Digging the ball up here, getting themselves forward, quickly going to the ground, and a quick release, quick kick. Once again, Zimbabwe have everything just going their way.
Yep. They've done well in this opening half hour. They were on the back foot within just 2 minutes after that Danko Baka penalty, but since then it's been one-way traffic on the other side of the field. Zimbabwe have brought the fight to the defending champions.
Battle for the ball, going to the ground here. Tough challenge in here. And ultimately another kick and chase. And JC Nail having to chase the ball a couple of extra meters and judging the bounce of the ball, expecting it to come his way. But as unpredictable as the rugby ball always is, Ovular Shep opting to have a mind of its own.
It's good kicking game from the two backliners, Zimbabwe's fly half and Namibia's fullback. But again, Zimbabwe are winning that kicking battle. The kick chase is good. The kicks are good as well.
Pryor getting the ball back to the center of the park. Chance once again. Feints, steps to the side. Good dummy. Entirely had that line of Namibia reeling. That's adjudged to be a forward pass. "28 minutes of the game. Zimbabwe 14, Namibia 3. They did open up the proceedings, but hardly much has changed since then. And it's been all Zimbabwe traffic going one way.
Zimbabwe are doing the hard work at the breakdown. They're making it a mess for Namibia. Namibia like to play a structured style of rugby, so they have men that are supposed to commit into that breakdown, but Zimbabwe are getting there before or with them and making it a mess, forcing Namibia now to play a quick ball before their men get in new shape, and they are making those hits and tackles hard and off and in front of the gain line. Namibia have been forced now to resort to the kicking game, kicking it behind Zimbabwe so that they can force them now to exit and then they can start from a set piece. But at the moment, Zimbabwe are responding well to that kicking game, and it's a good contest between these two teams.
Need for medical attention there to one of the Zimbabwe players. It's being escorted off at the moment. Heavy impact here, and applause here from other players, and looks like his game will be done, so it's going to be a quick substitution here and quick change. It looks like Tadiwa will be the man that is brought on. Gwashu, shot 20, will now take his place among the starting 15.
This is a platform that Namibia want to resume their attack. The end-to-end stuff of the kick tennis has not worked for them so far, but their set plays have been immaculate, especially this scrum down.
Locked in. Handed off, delivered well. And now looking to make the chase in. Good run coming up in here, looking to make the final release, and it could be business, but a hard challenge here. Solid tackle from Zimbabwe. Not giving the time of space for Kawowo Nandi to actually make it across the try line. Was a good call there. Brilliant sprint that was put in by JC Nell. But what about that for a perfectly timed challenge there? Brilliantly executed by Edward. Well, it was actually by Tapiwa Mafura.
Mafura did just one extra bit of work on defense by dragging the winger into touch and looking for that line out, which he has earned for his team.
Seems to be a real battle, everybody digging in for that, but Zimbabwe have the benefit of possession. Still taking their time and finally launching that ball airborne. Once again, a chance now to bring the full back into play, JC Nell, but this time comes up against heavy opposition here from Brandon. And looking to find a way to get the one was actually Kudazai, making it practically impossible to get past his man. JC Nell looks to relinquish. Hard impact once again, and trying to keep him up.
Zimbabwe caught offside at that breakdown. Like I mentioned earlier, Namibia wants to play structured rugby. They want to attack from a set piece. The lineouts are not working well today, but their scrum, my oh my, that was just a one-strike move that has moved them from inside the 22 into the Zimbabwe 5, and you can see the result now. Zimbabwe have been forced to try and kick it back out, but in the end it has resulted in a penalty for Namibia just past the 10-meter line. And these are the contests that Namibia is trying to win by clawing back in, forcing Zimbabwe to play in such territories, and then once the defense drops for a second, they drop their attention, they give away penalties like this.
Chance. Starting it off. Big clearance, big kick. Still not adequate enough. And Namibia will continue to wait here for extra points on the board. 31 minutes, Namibia 3, Zimbabwe 14.
This is a penalty to try to close the deficit. It is Namibia 3, Zimbabwe 14.
Nothing seems to be working for Namibia at this point. They have possession, they give it away easily to Zimbabwe, and now Zimbabwe will just do the easy stuff, forcing them to play inside their own territory. And you know, Jermaine, as it stands, the longer the ball stays in play, the more advantage Zimbabwe get, because they are thriving in these conditions. Namibia wants to attack from a set piece. Zimbabwe are free to keep the ball in play. That means there's longer breakdowns. That means men are getting tired. That means you have to innovate and you have to think about what you do with more phases in play.
Well, also you might have to start factoring in the weather conditions, because as it stands, a slight drizzle is now descending upon the Namboole National Stadium. So might see a couple of fans beginning to make their move to, well, seek early shelter against the elements. For the players on the pitch, just a few extra conditions to deal with in the gameplay.
That's what rugby is about. Once you're in these 4 lines, inside the 4 white lines, whatever conditions are brought to you, provided they are safe for you to play, you have no option but to stick it in there and play. But they have to deal with the wet ball, they have to deal with the slippery surface as well.
It's never funny, especially when you have teammates or opponents that are charging at you at full speed, just like we do see at the moment. Tadiwa Washu trying to gain some territory here once again for Zimbabwe. What a difference it would make here if they could actually find themselves going all the way across to the try line. Difficult conditions, difficult elements. Simba holding on to the ball, but for the moment they are momentarily losing it. In the end, it looks like the grip or the handling on that ball is already getting affected.
Yeah, now I think we'll get to see how these two teams innovate with the difficult conditions. As we know, Uganda, the weather keeps changing. We are now, should be the dry season, but with the changes in, some will say global warming and all, it is raining. It's a bit of a wet season. What do the teams do? Do you now, Zimbabwe like to play out and wide? They like to run with the ball. Do they now start playing short passes? Do they now switch to popping it? One of the things that will make the difference here is where you are playing the game from. For both Zimbabwe and Namibia, it's risky business playing where Namibia are right now. So the first thing, the objective, given these wet and slippery conditions, is to exit their own area, and then they can see what to do once the ball is in hand again.
Infringement here.
That's angling in the scrummage from
Zimbabwe. They'll go for a kick here. Dankobag, skipper, looks to put it into touch. About 5 minutes or so left to play in this first half. That has the defending champions here at the moment trailing. Heavy impact here earlier on. Bodies reeling and falling. It doesn't look like it's about to drop in intensity. As Namibia might be right in saying just haven't recovered from those 2 tries that left them really gasping for their breath. Zimbabwe continuing on the same intense play. Slip up, losing that ball. That looked like a forward pass.
They had the advantage nonetheless for that handling error on the kick chase. But this is what is going to make the difference at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of this first half, given that the weather might change again here in in Namboole, you raise that ball, make it a fair contest for your chaser and the team's backfield, then maybe you can just hope. If he gets his hands on the ball, well and good, but once he has got his hands on the ball, he needs to stay with it in his hands, otherwise he's going to lose it forward. And now Zimbabwe will do the easy thing that Namibia had to do the other time. Set your scrum, kick it out, and you can see what to do from the other side of the playing field.
Talking about weather, Ed Hadley has shifted from the earlier elements. The drizzle abating for the moment. And it looks like it's once again back to hazy skies and overcast clouds. Quick pickup here from Zimbabwe, who also look like having changed their intensity one bit quickly, having Tapiwa brought to the ground. Looking secure possession. Cleophas, good play. There's a big kick here. Ball bouncing ceremoniously. Once again, JC Nell making the consultation before making the kick.
It's a knock on and offside. Sigauke, you're at test level, you've played enough rugby in the age group competitions to know that once your teammate knocks the ball forward and you are in front of him, you are in an offside position and you cannot play the ball.
Well, I guess it's one of those situations whereby it's the rush of adrenaline and the heat of the moment. He wasn't hardly sure. See the ball in front of you. Monkey see, monkey do. Pick it up and move. Pure instinct sometimes. Well, Namibia will once again aim to go for the posts, and this time from a much more convenient position. Dankoberg will attempt to knock another 3 down from those posts and try to reduce that deficit, gaping deficit it is. Bring it down to 8. Will it be? Well, still no luck. And
that's a shocker.
Interesting.
He's missed 3 penalties on the trot, Dankoberg.
Misses another.
Oh, that looked too close to miss. Easier said than done when you're sitting in the commentary gantry. I guarantee, especially with the conditions on the outside, especially the wind. Zimbabwe now with a kick from their 22. Easily received by Danko. Again, Namibia.
Good call. It's a good line of sight from the referee there.
Adrian Boyen finding himself in a very difficult place to be.
And Ruan Ludik was just a little bit too quick. He's trying to be smart by shuffling it backwards, but the referee had just seen it and handling error on the floor.
It's been hardly a moment that the referee has put a foot wrong in this particular match. And there you go, the siren that signals 40 minutes interval is done. So down to the final piece of play or final set play here. Set for the battle. Referee signaling the fact that wasn't kept upright, so possession now in favor of Zimbabwe. Well, fast to face forward here. Simba Mandioma, the hooker for Zimbabwe. And they'll opt for a scrum. Looking it up here with Punga, Kandiona, Cleophas.
I love this set piece. I love the scrummage. And my love for it has even grown higher with men like Ox Nche saying some wisdom of salads don't win scrums. You need the brute force and power at the front row for you to get that advantage in the set piece.
Well, not standing on occasion, Hilton Mudariki, the captain, wastes no time, just popping that ball out over the line and sending the two teams back down the tunnel in what has been, once again, another almost immaculate performance by Zimbabwe in the first half of the game. coming from 3 points down to putting 14 on the board and making sure that the defending champions know that they have a bullseye firmly painted on their back. Halftime in the second semi-final of the Rugby Africa Cup. It's Namibia 3, Zimbabwe 14.
they can.
Released, just as predicted there. JC Nell puts that clear. To get themselves some territory in here, chance to galvanize troops and get themselves back onto the front foot. Instructions galore here from the technical bench on both.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
We'll come back to the second half here at the Manila National Stadium. Second half of the semi-finals. And it is the defending champions, Namibia, that find themselves on the back foot against what has been a very able, very agile, and a very versatile Zimbabwe. Scores, Namibia 3, Zimbabwe 14. Jermaine Egesa here with Anesta Korebirunji. And it looks like picking it up from where they left it off. And there's a yellow card brandished this early. Frustrations mounting for Namibia.
They are coming from the frying pan into the fire. Namibia immediately off the break, and they give away a penalty for the crocodile roll that has now been deemed illegal. And it's a big man at the front row, meaning they will need to take off a man when they have a set piece. Namibia in dangerous territory right now.
Well, it's Max that is actually brought off here. Max Kachucheku is the man that is sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. A chance once again here for Zimbabwe to prosper. And prior We'll be hoping for shades of deja vu once again, picking it up from just as it was in the first half. Chance here to pick points. Goes for the penalty. Not successful this time.
Unfortunately, Empire are able to add on to the points for Zimbabwe. It remains an 11-point game.
Not a bad place to be though for Zimbabwe. They are in good territory and they will now have possession at halfway.
Now, a renewed zeal in their passing game. They do have the numeric advantage. Max Katucheku of Namibia is the man that's actually offered a chance here, trying to brace themselves very close to that line.
What a pass from Pryor. Cutting out 3 defenders at once.
Simba looking to release the pass quickly to the rest of his teammates. Spreading out here, trying to use narrow strip. In the end, not successful. Good release. That's interesting.
Oh, big
Chance
man running.
here. Goes to the ground, still has the momentum, still has possession. And Zimbabwe within touching distance here. Big man tumbles again, still retaining possession, quickly recycled. Well, that must be frustrating. Absolutely. Just within touching distance, they could see it. Just couldn't happen. And right there is the consul of Uganda to Namibia. His Excellency Chirumira, seated next to Hamis Chigundu, proprietor there of the Ham Stadium, Nachivubo, where the Namibia team did go ahead and train midweek. No guessing where his allegiances will lie at the moment.
It's a tough place to be for him, as Namibia are now on the back foot. But it's good to see these diplomatic relations with these nations when they visit different countries. Pretty certain that Uganda, while they were in South Africa, they got a couple of visits with the ambassador to the South Africa at his residence and at his office. So Namibia are enjoying the same here.
Quick correction will have to be made there. Looks like Max Katucheku is still on the pitch. We'll be getting a reaffirmation of the player that was sent to the sin bin. That is Nandi Karuyombe, if I'm not mistaken. Max Katucheku, shot number 7, still on the pitch. Official confirmation here coming in from the touchline. Jason Benade is the man that actually was sent to the sin bin there. Jason Benade is the man that was sent to the sin bin. For the moment, Namibia have to tussle it out with 14 men on the pitch. Zimbabwe now contending with a change in traction on that pitch, and that's definitely going to be a real factor when it does come to play here.
And the momentum is slowly getting balanced despite the fact that Namibia are a man down. They've marched from a yellow card inside their own 22, and they have a line out on the other side of halfway. Not their best of set pieces, but they have to make it count.
Ubet Nokia gets the ball released, the hooker, and also vice captain. Another mess up here, allowing Zimbabwe to utilize the open flank, and this might be a done deal. Well, opting to head into battle rather than to run clear. Interesting choice of decision there from Takudzwa
NBS Sport
swinging it out, and another chance, and this will be easy pickings. Good pickup, and finished off here by Tapiwa Mufura. Now that was excellent use of brains, just setting it the right place, right time.
Tapiwa Mufura running a good supporting line, but all the hard work is made to look so easy by Ian Pryor. That bullet pass to put his center into space. I mean, look at that break through the middle.
Simba had the ball brought down.
The recycle it, he comes looking for work and then picks just the man on the outside. Good supporting line, then inside.
Beat Zimbabwe.
I mean, this is good awareness of the blind side from Ian Pryor. Comes in, commits, takes the hit, but offloads, and it is back inside for Tapiwa Mufura. What a try for Zimbabwe, and it looks like they are now in charge of this semi-final. Now Pryor to make it a full complement of points after that beautiful pass and try that set them to more than double figures ahead of the defending champions. It appears the poles on this side of the playing field are much of a challenge for the kickers. In the first half, Danko Berger missed 3 penalties attempted to these poles. Ian Pryor, who has been much better than Danko Berger, now has a shot at the same poles, and he has now missed 2 kicks. So the score will stay as is, 19 points for Zimbabwe and 3 for Namibia.
Quickly pulling daylight between themselves, Zimbabwe and Namibia. It's going to be quite a bit of a tall order. This is going to be a real test to this Namibian side if they can attempt a comeback. The last team that attempted a comeback against Zimbabwe just fell short by 2 points. That was the Uganda Rugby Cranes on the quarterfinals weekend. So Namibia do have it quite stacked against them. Wouldn't want to bent against them just yet, but this is Test Rugby.
It's been the Cup semi-finals, of course. They've been the playing field of the underdogs. We've seen what Algeria have done to Kenya earlier today, and now Zimbabwe appear to be doing the same to the defending champion Namibia.
Namibia struggling here with the ball. Just can't seem to find the right grip or find the right place and find the right tactic or technique to utilize. Just to remind you, of course, final games will be coming up on Sunday. As it stands at the moment, waiting at the finals is Algeria, while Kenya will be waiting for whoever falls short in this game or whoever draws a short straw in this game. If anything is to go by with the current momentum, it might again be similar fixtures to what we did see last year, except that this time it will be for very different prizes.
Yeah, they will be battling for a better seeding. Number 3 will face number 6, but 4 faces number 5, which is a tough contest for the team which were unfortunate to lose the quarterfinal but went ahead to be the best of the rest. So these 2 teams will want to avoid that bronze medal match come Sunday.
Minutes on the clock. Questions on whether the signal was given. Looks like there's definitely a substitution here. It's being made. Substitution or a return in here. Andy Kawowo making his way back onto the pitch. Namibia. We will watch it carry grounds here, venturing forward. Human debris all over the place. And our battle here for a quick breakout here, looking to get the ball to the try line. They're inches away, could have a chance here. Heavy impact in here, but still anybody's ball. And now trying to force the issue, but well held. Pietra Deak not given a chance. And here comes JC Nels. Unable to get it, and that's a knock-on. The referee will consider the early advantage.
Namibia seem to have woken up after that try. They're working hard to get back in this game, and as we know, the defending champions will not go down without a fight.
In the morning, but they are also escorted by Denver Vanis, who is the training manager at Rugby Africa. Well done for being present here in Kampala.
Substitution.
Well, there's going to be a bit of a switch up here, and Lloyd Jacobs is set to come through.
The left wing, Nandi Kawowo.
And Nandi Kawowo, who had just returned to the pitch, is the man that will make way here. Steps off the pitch, so Lloyd Jacobs, shot 23, taking the place of shot 11. As Namibia try to find themselves an inch of space, an inkling. Dayak once again forced to relinquish, and Namibia with another big kick relieve the pressure that was mounting right at their try line.
Zimbabwe are doing all the hard work on defense. Despite that encouraging carry through the middle towards the uprights, that's usually where you want to attack. But Zimbabwe have kept the try line clean, ripping that ball out of his hands before he took the deck and then exiting their own area. Good defense from Zimbabwe.
Takutsa Musingwini, the left wing, will definitely take big plaudits there for exceptional service that he's put into the back line. Making sure that he's had everything swept clean, and now they have a chance and a big hit. Whoa, that spun him midway in the air. Hillian must be gasping for his breath right now.
He chose the wrong shoulder and landed into the tough shoulder of Brandon Musekenyezi. Had to spit out that ball and result in a turnover for Zimbabwe.
Definitely left him really big hits.
Defense.
Hillian Burks
Winning.
Well, he's back at it again. This time seems to have found his footing wrong. And Namibia still our possession. Pushing here, trying to gain territory. Chance to carry the ball once again, utilizing the small pockets of space. It's possession once again for Namibia. 54 minutes. The sooner, the better. This is the reaction you want to see now from Namibia.
Yeah, without a doubt. Namibia have upped the tempo. They're playing quicker ball. They're playing additionally what's in front of them, and they're taking charge of their breakdown. This was one of their Achilles heels in that first quarterfinal against Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso made a mess of their breakdown, and I think Zimbabwe picked some lessons from there. It has been working so far. 19 points to 3 they lead, but Namibia are slowly but steadily inching forward. They are enjoying the territory and the possession. They now need to put points on the board.
Looked flawed. Ball ultimately kicked. And complaints there from the technical bench against the officiation.
He's not put a foot wrong, to be honest. The ball was lost in the air by a Zimbabwe hand, and it bounced off the chest of maybe a hand, and at that point there's no advantage. So it will have to be returned and sprung fit to Namibia. A good attacking platform. I know they like such structured plays, and you can see how the attack is shaping up to run what should be a backdoor move. The number 12 just a bit into the pocket of the number 10, with the number 13 running a short line.
Well, Danko Bag will be the man that has to orchestrate all the proceedings. Alcino Isaacs will be waiting through, and there you go, Danko Bag to Alcino Isaacs. The move breaks down. Called it right. Hillian Bukes was the man that was set to release that ball or receive that ball. In the end, just another day, another bad day in office here.
Danko Baga did not give his center a good pass. Just pop the ball into the hands or just close to the chest of your man running a short line. Because of course he expects the flankers to be on him. The centers defending for the number 10 to be on him. But he's looking for that small gap in the middle. And he needs the confidence that the ball is going to come straight to his hands. When it doesn't, and he has to think, where do I get the ball? Where do I step? Where do I run? It results in a handling error.
Scrum here for Zimbabwe. Quick release, nice feint, leaving Danko Bag trailing in his wake. This could be something exceptional here for Zimbabwe. Another dummy, releasing the ball, and it's a done deal. Another brilliant execution here by Zimbabwe.
Goodbye, Namibia. Zimbabwe have outclassed Namibia in this game, and it's not the work of many players. This try has the makings of Tapiwa Mafura. We saw what he did, devastating the Ugandan defense. He has done the same against the Namibian defense. Good carry, throws the dummy, fends off Danko Baga. He has the supporting line, throws another dummy, and then Brandon Zekenyezi. We mentioned the try that he scored in the first half of that supporting line. He runs another good supporting line and he's under the uprights.
We'll pick the plum of the cherry, but how was that from Tapiwa Mafura? You might well as well brand him the merchant of dummies. Sold them not once, twice to exceptional. It just had the Namibian defense reeling. A very good try there.
We thought we had seen the try of the tournament from Belda Dogeta for Kenya against Algeria, but this might be bringing the fight and trying to take the award from it, because this was not just the one-man job. This was a team try off the set piece. I love to see such tries. We have two contenders for try of the tournament so far. And mind you, we still have 4 games to play come Sunday.
Well, Namibia now making a couple of changes, and they'll have to bring in reinforcement. Mapitsa on for action here. It looks like it's a real heavy gauntlet that's been thrown the way of Namibia. Ian Pryor adding the 2s to make it 26-3. This is going to be an indelible scar on the record of Namibia if they lose this one this way.
It could be the biggest upset that we've seen in African rugby in a really long time. Namibia have been the best of Africa. They've gone to 6 World Cups in a row. They've been invincible on African turf, and today we've seen the first signs that they can crack, and they've been cracked by their own neighbors, Zimbabwe Sabres.
One thing is absolutely certain: expect the unexpected here at the Mandela National Stadium, Namboole. Anything can happen. 2 major upsets in one afternoon. As Ernest actually put it up, it has been the underdog's playground. I wonder if there'll be any questions on whether we should have stuck to Nkurukuku as the original plan, especially from those that will not be heading to the final.
I mean, this playing surface has been pristine, to be honest, the Mandela National Stadium. There's been no excuses from any of the teams about the surface, about the conditions. Uganda have given their best in hosting this Rugby Africa Cup tournament, and the beauty about it is that we will be back here next year, so there will still be no excuses. Teams will need to put their best foot forward.
There's been no home advantage, even for Uganda, because, well, this was the very first time that they got to use this very surface here. Maybe next year, that might be a different story altogether.
Yeah, without a doubt, and Uganda will look to be hosting the Elgon Cup, the Victoria Cup, and maybe this is one of the places where they will be playing. But Alistair Coetzee has not been in such a position in a really, really long time. The last time he had such a margin put on him, I think must have been the All Blacks against South Africa, the 57 loss that brought in the days of Rassie Erasmus and resulted in 2 World Cups. Not sure if that's something to remind the Namibia fans of, but misfortune might have befallen them today as they are conceding a record match result against Zimbabwe, and they are about to relinquish their top step in African rugby.
20 minutes still on that clock. Can they turn the tide? Can they pull off a maverick? There will be something to behold. For the moment, it looks like the top dog sport might be quickly be wrestled away from them, and the 6-year winning, or the 6 tournament winning streak, 12-year grip at the very helm of African rugby is about to be pried away from their cold fingers.
I would like to, in as much as the excitement of such a result has gotten to me, I would like to exercise a voice of caution that 20 minutes might be a really, really long time, and all Namibia need to do is put 1 try on the board, and that makes it 26-10.
And then it begins.
So we still have a long way to go in this one, but it's not looking good for the Welsvesia.
Getting it on, trying to find space. That was JC Nail. Now the reinforcement, putting in a shift of their own. AJ Kans into the ground. Simba actively on the attack, and well, he's actually put in a very decent shift today. Simba Mandioma hasn't really been very good at the lineouts, but other than that, has hardly put a foot wrong in the game.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's compensating for not doing well at what his job is. The hooker is supposed to throw the ball in a lineout, and if you're not doing that well, then you have to work hard elsewhere, and that's what he's doing at the breakdown. Making a mess of the Namibia breakdown, forcing those handling errors and the turnovers, and now opportunities for points for his team.
Well, this is interesting. It looks like Ian Pryor has relinquished kicking duties for the moment, and Takudzwa will be the man that will step up here, having to fast undo his headgear, allow himself 360 cognizance of his surroundings. Looking to send a real dagger into the ambitions here of Namibia's comeback. If he can make that come to count.
That's a good.
And dagger it is, straight to the hearts of Namibia. Zimbabwe are not easing off. They are in this to win this. 29-3 reads the scoreline. In case you're just joining us, that is not a technical graphical glitch. It is the scoreline. Zimbabwe are firmly in the lead in this one.
And to make matters worse for Namibia, it's that Zimbabwe's charge on the score sheet, at least, is being led by some of their age-grade graduates, Edward Sigaoke and now Takuza Msingwini. It's going to be early days, it's going to be long days rather for Namibia to see how they can come back from this one. And then after that, look ahead at how many years they will have to contend with such a challenge from Zimbabwe. Notwithstanding, like we mentioned earlier, that they've not brought their A-team, but the record will stay as is, that Zimbabwe at the 2024 Rugby Africa Cup in Kampala, Uganda, beat the defending champions Namibia.
Well, as someone aptly said, once the badge is on your shirt and the anthem is sung and your flag is hoisted, you are the team. Now Namibia finding out firsthand just how delicate the head that wears the crown is. Having everybody coming after you, garnering after you. I can only say this is only going to serve up a more fiery encounter come next year's competition. And once again,
what a scrum from Zimbabwe. Their front row kept their feet square. Namibia were pushing with 8 men. When the ball got fed to the back, then they became 7, and then the front row decided it was time to get that second shove in, and they won that battle. Namibia's props had no other option. With that pressure coming from their locks, they stood up in the scrum, gave away the penalty.
Talk about having done their homework right. Zimbabwe with another kick here into touch. You might be wondering if a couple of the fans for Namibia are wondering, well, the referee should speed up that clock and put them out of the misery.
I think for Namibia now, it's not about ending their misery. It's about putting some consolation points on the board and perhaps reminding their future opponents about what they're capable of.
For the moment, just haven't had any sort of luck here, haven't been able to get their rhythm going at all in the second half. So long ago, when you consider it, when Dankoba got those first 3 points on the scoreboard, it seems an eternity and a lifetime ago. It's been a different Namibia, very different from what we saw in the quarterfinals, and absolutely different from the Namibia that many are, well, used to seeing.
I mean, if you're to do a post-mortem analysis of how Namibia's game has gone today, one of the challenges they've faced is that they've not been able to play well, even to, I should say, a game to forget that Danko Baga has had today in the number 10 jersey. He's missed a couple of penalties, but that's off the kicking tee. As a whole, the team have not had front foot ball. He has not been able to put his players in good positions. He has not been able to kick well for his team to win those kicking battles, and that's what Ian Pryor has done for Zimbabwe in the opposite number. Keep Zimbabwe playing in the right places, put points on the board for them, but most importantly, pick out those key passes that have led them to put points on the board. 2 tries that have been just made from his kicking and his passing, the key requirements of a fly half.
Well, the technical team making a couple of changes here for Zimbabwe, bearing in mind that they still have another clash, and at this point that looks like it will be the final. Well, definitely taking off some of their star players here, or some of their star starters. Once again, Zimbabwe winning the small battles here, guaranteeing success for the war.
Brandon Zekenyezi has been a rock on defense in that number 13 jersey. Looking for work, putting that shoulder in, and also winning turnovers for his team.
And when he finds the spare time to do so, putting up some extremely beautiful supporting runs that have resulted in 2 brilliantly taken tries. Big contender, I do dare say, for the man of the match.
Yeah, without a doubt. But there will be some other names on that list, including Ian Pryor, who has been, as you would expect, the best playmaker on the playing field. He makes the basics look so easy. Just take a look at that again.
Another kick, but this time, well watched here. A chance now to break through the ranks, waiting for that ball to bounce. Picking it up and letting the motion flow. Good release from Dion Kumalo. Skipping away from one, and this could be another chance once again to accelerate. Another easy kick here to tee the ball forward. Can he pick it up and continue? Scrambling, dashing, battling here. Good play coming in from Tapiwa Mafura. What can he not do? Almost seems like a one-man wrecking machine in there.
Tapiwa Mafura, if Namibia didn't pay attention to what he did in the quarterfinal, well, they're learning how deadly he can be in those open spaces on the outside. He's brought Zimbabwe from inside their 22 now to just 5 meters with the advantage. And another cross kick from Ian Pryor.
Well, this time that stealth was actually burst here. Someone was keeping an eye. The first attempt at that, definitely making it very clear. And in the end, this time, that just won't happen.
Still a good call from Pryor. He knows he has the free play, so he goes for the cross kick. But Namibia have learned from their mistakes of past, and they've kept a man out wide. It's that quick turn of events. Namibia look like they're coming in. They look like they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Zimbabwe and maybe get a breakthrough finally after close to 70 minutes on the clock. And then the tables turn and they are back defending their try line.
Clock steadily on a runaway. Quickly approaching the final 10 minutes left to play. It's a knock-on.
Namibia are suffering a slow death in this match. They can only wish the clock could tick faster, because all the attempts they've had at maybe putting points on the board, they've not been successful. They've not had any close calls, many close calls in this game, and their only luck came in the 2nd minute of the game, a Danko Braga penalty. Since then, it's been one-way traffic for Zimbabwe.
Well, they'll attempt to go about it again. Final few minutes of the game here, left to play up.
Namibia substitution, of course, the looks at prop Jason Benade, and on comes Mark Comrick from Zimbabwe, number 17, looks at
Substitution here for the Sables of Zimbabwe. Another very excellent shift put in here, and a chance to actually go ahead and put his feet up, soak in the adulation there. Victor Mupunga, loose head prop, has put in a very good showing. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. A quick kick.
Ian Pryor just enjoying himself at this point. Chris was already gone, just decides to take a drop kick just for the fun of it. I mean, they've earned the right, Zimbabwe, to be that relaxed.
for leaving and joining the lineups. Great boots.
Well, a chance here once again for Namibia to have to put in some decent defense, but Zimbabwe not giving them the light of day. Hefty kick put away here by Keegan Jobert, looking to pick and move. Zimbabwe not yet out of steam, still quite within the races, trying to break their lines here. Quick release, looking to snap one, player brought down.
Oh, he's been trapped in there. Even when the ball was available to play, Zimbabwe had no intentions of getting it out, and they will be going for the three.
Not rolling
Balls
away.
once again.
It's the hand signal from Mr. Connor.
We'll talk about it being a bit cruel there. Had no option, had nowhere to go, was really caught in dire straits.
I mean, the laws of the game are pretty clear.
You must roll away.
Hilton Pryor. Ian Pryor.
I think this is Ian Pryor's territory. Past the 10-meter line, then it becomes Takuzwa Singwini's territory. Recall, Takuzwa was the under-20 captain for Zimbabwe at the Bates Trophy in Nairobi in 2022, and he quickly graduated to the Zimbabwe Sables for their Rugby World Cup campaign. That wasn't successful. They lost to Namibia, but he was here today and he's taken part in this game. Now Ian Pryor, the man who was not expected to play in that number 10 jersey, but is doing so beautifully in Kampala this year.
Well, Pryor goes ahead once again to deliver, generating the perfect kick once again. He just goes ahead to nail it out. So 32-3. This is becoming an obliteration.
If ever there was any doubt.
Bringing on the inspiration at number 16. For Zim, number 19, David Makamba.
Another substitution here. As Kudakwashi is the man that is brought off there. That is the left lock. Had a decent shift and becoming a very quick affair here. You have to really admire Zimbabwe. They have not given away an inch. Haven't left their concentration job, haven't allowed themselves the thought of thinking the job is done, haven't rested on their laurels. It's as though the game is still in the first half for them.
That's what you must do to unseat a defending champion of 6 years. You gave them no chance, because once you do, they know how to break defenses down.
Zimbabwe managing to retain possession and release that ball quickly out on the far end. Trying to find a way to press forward there. Lloyd Jacobs found himself quickly closed down, but they still have possession. Just recycling that ball and moving it forward. Ian Klitske, the man that picks up the ball. Battling, trying to sprint out, so close, but not quite. Just as yet. Released.
Oh, potato, good skills from, ball handling skills from the Namibians.
Kieron Magic today has been largely confined to a periphery role, but here comes a break, and the chance finally appears. Space in, and Denzel Brewer. Denzel Brewer finally gets points. The first try, I don't think that was possible to actually say, but the first try for Namibia appearing in the 76th minute. And it's a substitute, Denzel Brewer, that puts points on the board.
They probed Namibia, and they waited for that one moment when Zimbabwe would give them a half-open gap. Denzel Brewer, realizing that in front of him were two forwards, he's a backliner, just throws the dummy, the gap opens wider, and he took it.
Well, wasting no time, but dispatching that off quickly and getting the conversion as well for a more decent-looking scoreline there, as Namibia now also hit double figures.
There's one thing this try has done, it has saved Namibia a lot of shame. Losing by 30 points to Zimbabwe is a big statement, but not scoring a try as a defending champion in the semi-final is unbelievable.
Catastrophic, to say the least. Chance to build up once again, Namibia. That just might be the tonic they needed to help themselves once again slash that deficit a little farther down. A chance to race at the marker, looking for space, going to the ground. Magic, Kieron, quick release. This time the hot potato skills not playing in favor of Namibia. It's a forward, it's a knock-on. That's a chance once again for Zimbabwe. The Sables to put paid to the pain.
I think this is the point where the family of the patient in hospital begin to call the priest. Because there were those final kicks, like they say, that last hurrah, the kicks of a dying horse are usually the most dangerous. Namibia put one out through Denzel Brewer, but it was only just.
The family is being invited into the surgery room. That normally doesn't bode well.
Now Zimbabwe attacking, or should have been attacking on a split defense, but they have to decide now. The laws of the game have changed. You cannot call for a scrum after a scrum penalty. So they will have to decide, do they take the 3 or do they go to the corner? But it's the easy stuff that wins games. 30 seconds on the clock. Ian Pryor can run that down by taking his time to get the kicking tee. He has 90 seconds to kick. Get the kicking tee, relax, get your angles right, and just as the clock ticks down, get the kick in, and as the clock ticks down, you've won the game.
Well, the kicking tee delivered, and he will set himself up once again. This could be a chance. The match-ending siren ringing out here, loud and clear. So Ian Pryor with what will be the final kick of the game. A game that I'm not certain many could have even called to be this, have this much gulf in terms of points. Pryor will go for it. Well, this one won't count, but will it matter in the grand scheme of things? I think not, because Zimbabwe have sealed the ticket to the finals of the 2024 Rugby Africa Cup. Phenomenal performance that they managed to put in here. And Zimbabwe, against the odds, have followed up in the footsteps of Algeria and once again pulled the upset. And it's the underdogs, as they were termed, that will be heading to the final.
Tapiwa Mafura named the man of the match after setting up that beautiful try for his teammates, but then also getting a chance to score one of the most beautiful you will see of the team tries just at the start of the second half. Zimbabwe have been really, really clinical against a resilient Namibia side that were caught unaware early on in this match. They have come out winners of the Rugby Africa Cup semi-final and will face Algeria in the final on Sunday. Confirmation of the full-time score then after what I would describe as a huge day of massive upsets here at Namboole. Namibia 10, Zimbabwe 32.
Well, and from me, Jermaine Egesa and Ernest Akorebirunji in the commentary booth, it's a lovely, lovely evening. But standing by on the pitch side is Desire Drekford Mugomisa to put the icing on the cake with the gentlemen that have just put in a tremendous game. Desire.
All right, 32-10, it ends as Zimbabwe going to complete yet another surprise today. It's been, well, a couple of semi-finals with shockers, isn't it? Kenya knocked out. They will have been the favorites of the earlier semi-final. They will be playing the third-place playoff. And now Namibia, who on paper should have come in as favorites, will be going in for the third-place playoff up against Kenya, as Zimbabwe, 32-10 winners over Namibia, get to face off with Algeria on Sunday right here at the Mandela National Stadium in Namboole. What a day here as we get to continue with our coverage of this particular day. It's coming to an end, but in a short while we should be talking to the MVPs as well as the captains. Hopefully we'll also talk prepare for that, especially.
Zimbabwe were the better team on the day.
Zimbabwe and to watch them. I was wondering what was going to happen in the second half. But yet as they came face after face, body.
Physicality in the forwards, but we didn't capitalize on the opportunities we had. We made some silly and some basic mistakes.
Would someone say you've been winning against Zim? I think this is only their fourth win. Would you say you were a bit cocky approaching this game?
No, not at all. We never underestimated Zimbabwe. We know what was coming. So for us, it's just on the day the things didn't go right for us. So we didn't underestimate them. We know how skillful they are, how physical they are. So at the end of the day, we didn't execute our opportunities.
I mean, the qualifiers are coming up next year. I mean, when you get a reality check like this, I mean, how does it bring down you, the players?
A loss like this is always tough. I'm lost for words. It's not nice, but obviously we'll have to do some introspection. We'll make sure we look ourselves in the mirror and decide how we're going to go forward with this one. So obviously we'll take this one and we'll be better. When we come back, we'll be stronger.
What do you think you could have done better?
Just to keep the ball. We made some basic mistakes. We got into their half, overthrow on the line out, maybe down with the ball. Obviously they turn it around and they score 7.
This is massive for us. I've seen a couple of interviews now that we haven't beaten Namibia in 22 years. I've been in this system for 11 years, never beaten Namibia, and to do it in the way that we did today is truly special. I'm so proud of the guys, the effort that they've put in the last couple of months, in the last week or so, to come out with this result. We truly, truly deserve it.
How did you manage to get to a 1 over Namibia?
I think it just came down to belief and hard work. We've got an amazing coaching group who have instilled a lot of professionalism in our team. We've got quality guys that are in our setup, the likes of Mafura, the likes of Pryor, who bring a lot of calmness, who bring a lot of energy. So to have those guys in our system is awesome, and they bring a lot of calmness. Even with the under-20 boys that are coming in, the likes of Eddie Sikaoke, who are electric and full of energy. So we've got a good blend of youth and experience, which is counted in our favor.
I mean, the growth that you've experienced over the past few years to get this level where you're now going to play the final. How would you describe it?
Oh yeah, obviously, everyone wants to play in a final. I think all teams that came to this tournament were wanting to play in a final, and we're truly blessed to be in that. We know it's not going to be easy. We know Algeria are a quality outfit, and we'll have a lot of hard work to do. We'll definitely enjoy this win, but then we know tomorrow back to the drawing board to work hard for Sunday.
I mean, the small wins that you've gotten in the games, the lineouts, the scrums, and how you move the ball so quickly to the wings. I mean, how are you able to execute some of the set plays that you put across?
Yeah, like I said, we've got an excellent coaching group that bring a lot of experience, that bring a lot of calmness to the guys. So, we're given that opportunity to go out there and express ourselves within the system. We have a game plan. We have things that we're trying to achieve, and I'm happy that today it came out for us.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Closing.
All right. Right, a big win for Zimbabwe over Namibia. It has been coming. The captain has told us how the work they have been putting in has now rewarded, and you expect another one of a kind on Sunday when they play Algeria, and the confidence is high. And that is it from us here at Namboole National Stadium.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.